Welcome back to Collectability. Today we are going to dish about Patek Philippe and share the secrets behind the untold story of a holiday tradition. But before we get started, I want to thank you for listening, and I have a personal favor to ask. Please push that subscribe button on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, and this will ensure the future of this channel will help us, help you discover the world of collectability. So if you love all things Patek Philippe, push that button now. And also, please comment below after you watch this video. You might even get a chance to win one of the dishes that I have in front of me today, but more on that later. So let's get started. Today we're going to do a historical survey of all the Patek Philippe dishes ever made and discuss their history just a bit. As far as we know, this story has never been shared publicly before, so this is true Patek Philippe insider information, and I hope you find it as fascinating as I do. Special thanks to Pamela Cloutier and Tanya Edwards for helping me piece this story together. Before we discuss the dishes, let's discuss the 19th century dishes in front of me. In a recent auction in France, I was able to acquire a full dinner service of a set of dishes that belong to the Patek family. This is something that captures my heart and frankly really underlines my obsession with all things Patek Philippe, because these belong to the founding family of the company. This complete wedding service from the family was made by Jean Earthenware and has this Renaissance decorative pattern. It's a company that was in business in France since 1821, and they used traditional techniques of this special clay and this amazing hand painting with extraordinary detail. Now, here we have the coat of arms, you'll see, the red coat of arms of the lion. And this is the coat of arms of the Patek family. This was the coat of arms of Antoine Norbert de Patek. You can imagine who could possibly eat dinner from these dishes. And this is a wedding service set specifically from Patek's son, Leon Vincent de Patek, who was born in 1857. He was a silent partner of Patek Philippe starting in 1878. Now, his father was very Catholic and would have been quite happy to know that his son married a Catholic girl from France. And here you see her coat of arms. And this is the coat of arms of Eugénie Charost de la Chavannes. Here on the plates, you could see the two coat of arms in union, surrounded by these two unicorns under a 9-pointed crown. Now, like his father, Leon Patek was a count. And this wedding in 1883 was quite the event. It was in Chambéry, France, about 55 miles from Geneva. So at the end of the day, I guess you could say, this is my Patek Philippe gravy boat. Now on to the modern dishes, or shall we say vide-poches, which is French for empty pockets. Now, the idea is when you come into your home and empty your pockets, you put it into one of these little knick-knack trays, and they're called vide-poches in France, or we call them dishes in English, and there are these wonderfully useless things that we all have in our homes if you're a Patek Philippe collector. I've seen them in so many people's homes and used for such random things, for coins, keys, jewelry, golf balls. Comment below on what you use your Patek Philippe dish for. So here's the story of where these dishes came from. Since 1997, these dishes have been given as gifts to Patek Philippe VIPs and friends of the brand around the world. I received my first dish in the year 2000 when I was always curious about the backstory behind them. So who better to ask than our dear friend Pamela Cloutier, who is Patek Philippe's former area director of the Americas, Asia, and the Pacific Rim. She worked very closely with Philippe Stern in the 1990s and the early 2000s, and she knows the answer to everything. Surprisingly, after I asked Pamela the story behind these dishes, I learned that she was the one that had the idea of creating these vide-poches for the first time. She explained to me and to Tanya last week that in the mid-1990s, Pamela was asked by a close friend and very talented porcelain painter named Catherine Bouvier to borrow her Patek Philippe books because Catherine wanted to paint beautiful watches on some of her porcelain pieces. Catherine has multiple sets of dinnerware and tableware that she had painted over the years, and she thought it'd be very interesting to try putting a watch or a watch pattern on some of these dishes. She literally had horology in her blood because Catherine's grandfather was a watchmaker in the Neuchâtel region where her family is from. And she grew up with chiming clocks in her home. She always was immersed in the world of watchmaking and admired the heritage of the craft. So Pamela lent her copies of the Banbury books, volume 1 and 2, and the Caliber 89 book. And they discussed the idea of painting Patek Philippe pocket watches on different pieces of porcelain. She did some tests and wanted to see what worked best. Originally, Catherine considered doing a set of tableware, but Pamela asked her to also try smaller pieces of porcelain that Patek Philippe could possibly use as gifts for VIPs, and she agreed. Catherine painted a couple boxes, a vase, a napkin holder, an ashtray, and some smallish rectangular plates that could go on the desk and hold pens. And these initial studies are what inspired Patek Philippe to do other shapes, which eventually became these rectangular dishes, which we call today vide-poches. Thus, the project was born. And from the beginning, Pamela and Catherine had the idea together to use timepieces from the museum as inspiration for these dishes. Once Pamela presented the concept to Philippe Stern, he approved and the tradition was born. He personally picked the pieces from the museum which would inspire each year's dish. So since 1997, these vide-poches have made many collectors smile in the month of December, and they were traditionally given with holiday cards. Now, if you're lucky enough to receive one of these from Patek Philippe, you'll get a holiday card such as this, and it matches the dish such as this. Or most recently, the zebra was the 2023 gift, and you can see how it matches the dish perfectly. There are a number of undocumented dishes that were made and some other objets, and I'm about to show you a quite special one that inspired this project from the beginning. And these one-offs are what really brought this project to life. Now, the piece I'd like to show you, which is so exciting to have here today, belongs to my colleague Tanya Edwards. And you'll see a watch you may be quite familiar with on the cover. And this is the Queen Victoria pendant watch from 1851. Now, what's so amazing about this hand-painted objet is this is one of the first items, the first objects that inspired this whole collection before me. Now, when you open up the lid, you'll see a signature that's signed Patek Philippe and the initials CB 94. And the initials are for Catherine Bouvier. So Tanya has something extremely special with this, this beautiful objet that inspired the dish collection that we're all so familiar with. Once this project began, it was a lot of fun for Mr. Stern to decide which watch in the museum should inspire which dish on an annual basis. So starting in 1997, we see the absolute first dish. And the reverse of each of these dishes shows the watch from the museum. And this is a piece from 1927. And it really just ties together the museum and this beautiful artwork of these, of the patterns that you could see on each of the dishes. It's simply beautiful. So as we go through history, I just wanted to show you some of my favorites going back to 1997 all the way to last year, because you see some interesting traditions evolve and surface as this project continued over the years. So let's skip ahead to one of my favorites, because this is a dish very much like Tanya's Queen Victoria that had a lid. And when you open it up, you could put whatever you want. So it is technically a vide-poche. But if you look at the bottom, you'll see the pocket watch that inspired the piece originally. And this was from the 2000 collection. Also, you'll notice each of these has the Limoges stamp on the bottom of each respective dish. Now, moving through time, you'll see some new traditions evolve with the dishes. Here is the dish from 2005, and it's the first time we actually see a Patek Philippe movement on one of these vide-poches. Now, interestingly, this is from a solar clock, because these clocks actually used pocket watch movements on the inside to tell the time. So you can see that all of these were inspired by watches, and a bit of trivia, too, were inspired by clocks, and that was 2005 and also 2014. Now, some other favorites. I love les poissons, the fish. This is based on another enamel, and this is from 2008, and you can see the pocket watch that inspired it here. And the quality of these dishes is second to none. And every time I see them in a collector's home, I'm just always curious not only what people use them for, but what memories they have is when they received this amazing gift from Geneva. You'll also see some years that had two pieces were sent to you. Like this one, for example, is from 2002. And this was from 2011, where the two, actually there's 3 years that they would send doubles out. So that's kind of a bit of curiosity. Now moving on to the year 2014, we have one of my favorite dishes. This is inspired by a dome clock made for the 175th anniversary. And you can see the sailboats on Lake Geneva in front of the actual Patek Philippe salons. And then you see with flames around these Patek Philippe movements, pocket watch movements on the perimeter. I mean, this is such an extraordinary piece. And that is the dome clock that inspired it. Stay tuned until the end of the video to learn how you can win an actual example of the 2014 175th anniversary vide-poche. Now, on sailboats, I think we need to discuss this particular piece too, which was from the year 2015. This is inspired by a pocket watch made by the celebrated enamelist, Anita Porcher, and it's just such a beautiful view. And there's the watch itself, which inspired the dish. Another favorite has these two pointers. I love dogs, as you know. To see it on a Patek Philippe watch and a Patek Philippe dish is quite fun. These two, I guess they're hunting pointers. And it's inspired by this watch in the museum. And this was the 2018 selection. So it's just such a whimsical dish as part of the collection. Another one, this is based on a cloisonné world time, reference 605 from the early 1950s. And you're probably familiar with the watch itself, which it's my pleasure to reveal the back to see that 605 world time. Now, most recently, in the year 2023, as I pointed out earlier, there was the card and the zebra, which is a pocket watch which was made in 2023. And it's, speaking of whimsical, I mean, just look at the zebras on the watch itself. And I think the theme to have it on a dish was, I have to admit, surprising and beautiful, and a departure from patterns they've done from the past. So there you have it. You could see a wide selection of almost 30 years of this tradition that dates back to 1997 of these vide-poche. And I really appreciate you for watching today. And special thanks again to Pamela Cloutier for her assistance in sharing the history of these amazing dishes. And as mentioned in my introduction, we're going to do a little giveaway of one of these Patek Philippe dishes. As I said before, I chose the 2014 dish. I have it in its original box, and you can see how they were presented. And there it is, the 2014 edition of the vide-poche. And you can win this, and all you need to do is subscribe to this channel and comment below within the first 72 hours of this video going live. And we're randomly going to pick one lucky winner to have this incredible vide-poche. Now on eBay, this particular example is brought upwards to $3,000 on the marketplace. So it shows how prized these dishes are becoming. So I think this could be quite nice in your home, and I hope you enter this little giveaway. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to Collectability on YouTube, Instagram, and also TikTok so you don't miss any future posts. Also, don't forget to comment below. Thanks again, and enjoy the hunt.